Yeah.
So you don't like guns?
No, not at all.
Why not?
Because unless like used in like by police and stuff, like they can like kill a lot of people, and there's already been mass shootings this year that like took a really hard toll on the whole world, not just America. France, Germany, all these terror attacks, like they're linked to guns.
Mhm.
So I just think they should be like illegal, like everywhere.
I mean, in France, I would say they're basically illegal, aren't they?
What?
In France, I would say they're basically illegal, aren't they?
Yeah, they are illegal in the UK, yeah. And Europe, I think.
Yeah. But the thing is, they still have these shootings there, so banning something is not always going to be positive results. Like, for example, drugs and stuff. And I get drugs are a different topic, but drugs is like it has many deaths a year from illegal overdoses, people using drugs and dying from it. But you don't see many people trying to stop that.
I do agree with you there, but like you see all these stories about shootings going on in schools because a kid has gotten hold of their like dad's gun.
Mm-hmm.
That should not happen, and if guns were illegal, that wouldn't happen, and that would save like multiple lives.
Do you know how many? What do you live in the United States?
No, I live in the
The
UK,
UK?
and there has been shootings. Yeah,
There has been shootings.
yeah, like when the guns were legal.
Okay, now, okay, guns are banned. You guys have a high knife crime, don't you?
Yep.
So how many people?
Well, yeah, I
Is
think.
it a
Well,
daily
not
thing
that
you hear
high.
about somebody getting stabbed?
No.
No. Is it a daily? Do like not hear about it? Do a lot of people get stabbed on a daily basis in the UK?
No.
No, that's not true. I don't know much about UK, but I mean the violent crime there, your guys is higher than ours. In America now, your violent crime I think it has a little different term, but we'll talk about America because I mean that's a lot of what I know about. There's 32,000 gun deaths related a year. Now, it sounds like a lot. It sounds like a ton, but you got to think 60% of the gun deaths are suicide. Now that's a big majority of it. Um,
And guns, if guns were legal, they could stop some suicide. Like I know you can still kill yourself with drugs and stuff, but like it could be prevented if guns were legal.
you mean
If you know what I mean?
some people would probably live there when they try to kill themselves because that's not as quickly to kill.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess you could say that, but the thing is, they're still trying to commit suicide. So if the guns weren't there, people are still gonna die from jumping off bridges, from cutting themselves with a knife, and stuff like that. Now, and um, Matt did bring up the Japan knifing. In Japan, there's been many like uh, mass knifings, I guess you could say, in Japan alone. Now, Japan doesn't own guns at all. Guns are banned there also. I mean, I get it, guns basically kill people faster, but what are you going to do if guns are illegal, you're not allowed to own guns, but the criminal that's going to break into your house has a gun and you're going to defend yourself with a knife?
Yeah. I would defend, well, in the UK, like where I live, like no one gets broken into, so I don't have that problem. But for like people across the world, like yeah, guns are still guns can still kill people instantly, and even baseball bats and stuff. As long as you can like at least injure the robber,
Well,
then it gives you a chance
it's
of getting
actually
away.
proven that you have a better chance of living getting shot than stabbed, depending on how many times you got stabbed and depending how
Yeah,
many
and it
times.
depends
But if you
where.
were going to get shot one time and stabbed one time, your chances in the same area, your chances of living is actually way better.
True, but knife wounds are treated like more easily in the UK than gun wounds, and I'm sure that's the same in America. I don't know, but
I don't know, not research, but I mean, if you were a criminal, let's just say if you were a criminal, would you inside if you knew this house had a gun, like the owners had guns or they didn't have guns, which house would you break into?
The one that didn't have guns, but that's kind of like common sense.
It is common sense, but I mean, so you want to ban it from everybody because certain amount of people die a year. Now I get it. Some people die that shouldn't have died from guns, but some people died that shouldn't have died from knives. Some people died that shouldn't have died from cars, from drug overdoses, from accidental prescriptions from doctors, and it can go on and on. But the thing is, if you look at the guns, how many guns save people a year, it's in the millions range. I believe 1 to 2 million people a year are saved from firearms, than 32,000 deaths a year. Now, that's not even 32,000 deaths a year, that's not even 1% of how many people are saved that are killed. So if you look at the reality of it, I mean, guns do more good than they do bad. And there's 316 more than 316 million guns in the US. So when you take about, we'll say, we'll even say 50,000, which is an incredible number and really high. If you take 50,000 guns a year that commit crime, it's still not even a percent, maybe a percent, not even a percent, I would say, from 316 million guns that the US has. Now, I mean, you could restrict guns from from background checks, etc., like that. But people don't understand the black market in America is actually widely available, I guess you could say. I mean, you've seen on the news that politicians are selling guns on the black market illegally, of course, and some do get caught. But if we have background checks, how is that going to work if they can probably faster than they could probably get a gun faster on the black market than doing the 10-day waiting period here in California. So background checks really don't do a thing when the black market is widely available like that, I would say.
That is true. And like back to the topic of like why guns like that. And many people think that like gun control is right because they think that keeping people away from guns will reduce the amount of deaths like per year. But they also think that guns can cause many of the deaths that's being committed each year.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't really know because I kind of agree with you, but like I do stand with that guns should be illegal.
But I mean, if you have, let's say you have three guys coming at you personally, and you have a knife with you, and they have knives, you're just gonna surrender right then and there because you're not going to try to fight them because they have three knives versus one knife. Now, if they came at you with three guns and you have a gun, you have a better chance because you're not going to have to get so close to them. You're not going to have to throw three swings in a knife, you know? I mean, if you practice with your
Okay,
gun all
that
the
is
time.
true. Like that is why I agree with you that like guns should not be illegal, but then people do kill people like accidentally with guns.
Yeah, accidental
That is
is, I mean, here in America, I think it was, I would say 3% are accidental. So it came out to 900 and something deaths a year out of 32,000 that are accidental deaths. Now, you really, it's an accidental. You really can't blame the gun. I mean, do people, I mean, there's many other instances where people have killed themselves by accident with a car that the car actually just doesn't work properly and it just kills them. Like the pedal will get stuck to the floor, for example, and the floor will just take off. Now, that kills people. I mean, and people like to say you can't really stop car accidents from happening, et cetera, et cetera. Well, most of the deaths are from drunk driving, and you don't see any regulations on how hard it is to get a driver's license here in America. I don't know how it is over there, but and stuff like that. What is the age limit out there to get a driver's license?
17, I
Seven,
think. Yeah, 17.
17. But you guys can drink at the age of 16, right?
No, 18.
Oh, you guys
18,
can
yeah.
drink at 18. So
Yeah.
would you say you have a lot of people drunk driving at the age of 18?
Not in Scotland. There isn't that much because people are responsible and they know how much you're allowed to. Well, I think the limit's actually 0 now, so nobody really like dies from that. They die from violent crimes or
Mm-hmm.
accidental car, but the only way they die from a car accident is if, say, someone was speeding or someone came out of a junction or they swear because something was on the road. That's the only reason that happens.
Here in America, you have to be 21 to drink, and I think that law can prove itself because there's like 16, 15, 14-year-olds drinking here. Now, a lot
Same
of
over here.
people, yeah, a lot of people don't really follow the drinking and everything. A lot of people drink and drive. I mean, at least in California, I can speak for. A lot of people drink and drive here. Now, that I forgot the number of it, but it was a large amount of deaths. A lot of people die a year from not accidentals, but drunk driving accidents and stuff like that. Now, yes, the person does go to jail for it. Yes, he does get charged, but what you really can't stop something like that. Now, how can you stop someone from committing a crime even if the gun is even if the gun is banned? Because then he's going to look into how can he build a bomb? How can he still find a way to kill these people? Now, people don't understand the Sandy Hook in the elementary school. What if he didn't have a gun on him, he would have killed him with a knife, and it would have been the same amount of fatalities. If not, the teacher would have fought back, which is maybe somewhat true. But the thing is, if many teachers in there have the right to carry a gun on them, and it's not a gun-free zone, therefore you don't have all these mass shootings. These mass shootings don't happen where guns are at. They only happen in these gun-free zones, such as the nightclubs, such as elementary schools, and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. You don't see him go attack a police station. You don't see him attack a gun shop. And it's just different, I guess you could say. But when you make yourself noticeable as a gun-free zone that no gun should be in here, then okay, these people with guns are not going to care because they know the other people don't have a fighting chance.
I do agree with that, but like if guns were illegal, you would have a better chance of surviving if someone came into your school with a knife. Like you could
With
run.
elementary school kids, I would probably not say that. Maybe a grown adult because you can actually fight back. But the thing is,
But
if
not
guns,
even just
do
like
you
elementary
know how
schools.
easy it is to make a gun?
Yes.
Yes.
Well, no, actually, because nobody tries to make a gun.
I know, but the thing is, you're looking at the fact that where do you live?
Scotland.
Scotland. It sounds like a lot of Scotland people follow laws, and there's not
They
really a
don't
lot of
like.
gang-related people over there, no?
Well, there are gang people. Like many people have been killed by gangs, like knife crimes and stuff, but no shootings, obviously, because it's illegal.
Okay. Now, when was your last mass shooting in just Scotland alone?
I don't think there has been one because guns are illegal.
But do people die from guns?
Nope, don't think so.
No. I mean, I don't really know a lot about that, but here in America, we'll talk where guns are illegal. I mean, if you have a gun, you practice with it, you're allowed to carry concealed, which in California it's very hard. Now let's just say that, and you're in a store, let's say like Walmart or something, and someone just comes in with a gun and opens fire on everybody, and people are in there that don't support guns. If I had my gun on them, I'm gonna try to protect anybody in there. It's gonna be, and myself, of course, but it's I mean, I have a fighting chance. It's not I gotta lay on the floor now and just basically cry for my life or run away and not do it. I have a chance to save many more lives out there than just mine if I have the gun on me at the right time. But I get it if you say if guns are banned, then no one will have guns. Well, I mean, I can go to Home Depot and make my own gun if I really wanted to. I mean, you have all the parts there, and which is really, it's actually legal to do that, I guess you could say, as long as it's not fully auto. But I just don't see why we should ban something that criminals will still have.
Because it's not just criminals that kill people with guns. It's little kids, like kids my age, they don't mean to. Sometimes they're depressed, like they're mentally ill, and they can just go into their school and start shooting. But if they didn't have a gun, that wouldn't be the case. So I suppose like both our arguments are like liable. Like I do get where you're coming from, but I also
But
stand by my
but you're
argument.
also missing the fact of how many lives it saves a year. Now, if guns were illegal and criminals still do have these guns, these murders are still going to happen, but you're not going to have the other side of millions of people saving themselves from guns. Now, when I say saving themselves, I'm from murder, from rape, from all the stuff like that. Now, if you think about it, knife on knife, it's an easier chance to get raped from a gun on gun. I mean, it's way easier to protect yourself with a gun than it is with a knife. And especially if you have two people against one person, a knife and two knives is not really very fightable, I would say. I mean, what would you do? You just have to stop because you have to try to stab one at a time where you can basically shoot. I don't know. But
But if you think about it, like more men are raped in the USA than women, even including like prison sexual abuse and stuff like that. And who carries a gun with them like all 24/7? Not everyone does that.
well, in America,
Yeah,
well,
like not
America,
everyone does
you
that.
really can't. It depends what state you live in. In Texas, many people carry guns with them, and their crime rate and their violent crime rate is very low because the criminals know if they walk into the store, they could get shot because they don't know who has it. Now, in California, at least, it's very high to have murder. It's a very high murder rate. It's a very high rape, etc., stuff like that. It's because it's very rarely to see someone with a CCW, concealed carry, in California. It's very you have to basically own your business to get one of those. Now, it's just, I mean, if a criminal knows these people aren't going to have guns on him, then by all means he's going to do what he wants. And if I mean, it just goes to show, if you ban guns, it's not just going to disappear. It's still going to be there. I mean, I can use drug as an example because it's the truth. I mean, cocaine, heroin is a very bad drug, and it still kills people, and it's still here. I mean, people still get their hands on it.
But say the police caught you with like if guns were illegal and police caught you with a gun, then you could go to prison. Like so it kind of like
In America or prison system, it works off of a lot of the prisons are full, depending where you're at. So you just get a slap on the wrist. A lot of people, like corrupt judges, are letting them out. Their early release programs and et cetera and et cetera. So these criminals are getting out, and they're gonna go commit the crime again. But it's just gonna happen again because the jails are full. We don't have enough money for it, and et cetera. So it's not. And I mean, we'll take Chicago for example. A lot of guns are there illegally. The city of Chicago, it's very illegal there, but you don't see any of the cops going down there to arrest people with guns because the gang related out there is very high.
well, I suppose then that's another topic about police and how they should be more like aware of things happening in the like in the streets like today. But I have to go. It was good arguing with you.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye.